Hi, my name is Andrew Lindeman. I would like to talk about Chapter 17 in our literature book today, on pages 560 through 581. I want to start by saying that I know poetry scares a lot of people my age because we don't understand the way it is spoke, we don't understand the words, and we don't understand necessarily how the different meanings of one poem there can be so many different meanings to it. And today on chapter 17, reading a poem in its elements, I went through the book and I found a couple of examples and main ideas that will help you to understand and be able to interpret poetry better, so it won't stump you as bad. There's three different examples I'd like to talk about today that I came up with. Number one is a critical reading. The second one is a contextual reading. And then the third one will be the craft of poetry. And let's start. A critical reading is a poetry that avoids being cliche. It's not the same as everything else. That was in the first paragraph on page 564. My original example is Sailing to Byzantium on page 578. Whatever is begotten, born, and dies. I chose this example because in the text it explains whatever is created and has a life and dies. Complements my first example because begotten is not a cliche word. It's not something you hear all the time. It's different. My second example is a contextual reading. A contextual reading is a poem that holds clues to their meaning embedded in each line. So every line in a poem has a meaning. Whether it's the smallest, most pointless line, it is going to hold clues for the next line that will make the poem explain itself better. So don't just think because, it's a little line that it's not going to have a meaning or it's not going to add up to something. So anyways, my original example is My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun on page 568. I think my love is as rare as any. This means he was trying to say his love is as rare as any of his other loves. So just that little word any leaves a clue to the real meaning of what William Shakespeare is trying to say or trying to portray to us. My third example is the craft of poetry. And this has to do with more of a description of an emotion rather than an emotion itself. So it's explaining love, or it's explaining pain, or it's not explaining how we feel, it's explaining the emotion of it. So my original example is Oh, my love's like a red, red rose on page 570 of our textbook. Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played, Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. Meaning, he's trying to explain that love is an equal opportunity and that when you love someone, then you risk the benefit of being loved back. So he's not trying to talk about his love life. Robert Byrne is explaining that it's an actual emotion, not his.